The pit stop is vital to every race team's success. Pull off the track, let your team go to work.
Outside, clear.
Change all 4 tires, fill the fuel cell, and make needed adjustments, all in 8 seconds or less.
Hey, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whenever you're watching or listening to the program on whatever channel or platform you're on. Welcome to the Pits Are Open, brought to you by Speed Sport, your one-stop shop for all racing news, speedsport.com, speedsport1.com. Also brought to you by Redline Ace, your also one-stop shop for all racing graphics, right in the heart of Speedway, Indiana. And they are redlineace.com. Welcome. Glad to have you here today. Alex Smith, our faithful, brilliant engineer, producer. We're glad to have him. And, you know, no matter what platform you're watching on, please, we always ask for this, please like, comment, and share. And particularly for those of you on our old YouTube channel, The Pits Are Open, please go over to our new YouTube channel, The Pits Are Open Podcast, and subscribe to us there. We really would appreciate it. Well, it's slowing down. A lot less racing going on right now. NASCAR's still running. But the news isn't slowing down. And so we had some big updates today on the IndyCar front. First one that dropped was the 2025 Indy Next champion, Dennis Hauger, is going to be joining Dale Coyne Racing. We're happy for Dale. What a great addition. And he also announced today that Dale Coyne Racing has entered into a technical partnership with Andretti Global for the 2026 season. And that's I'm not surprised. That's how teams are able to keep their good drivers from getting away to other teams. We saw this last year with AJ Foyt Racing signing a technical alliance with Penske. And then the driver, David Malukas, came into play. And David was actually under contract with Penske rather than Foyt, although he was driving a Foyt car. This is how they keep their best drivers in the flock, so to speak. And this is the way it's going to be with Hauger. He's driving for Coyne, but the technical alliance will make sure that Coyne is the best Coyne can be. And whether he's there with Coyne for a year or two, eventually he'll move over to Andretti Global. That's just how Andretti hangs on to him. This happens from time to time with other teams, not just Andretti. So congratulations to Dennis Hauger. Congratulations to Dale. Congratulations to Andretti Global as well. And silly season is far from over. Most of the teams are confirmed, but we still have a seat now open at Foyt. We have at least one seat open at Uncos Hollinger. We have Rinus VeeKay, one of the great drivers in the series, floating around without a responsibility yet. We have Jacob Abel, and there's already, and this from the Indy Star this afternoon, our good friend Nathan Brown, Indy Star reports, apparently there's some talk Jacob Abel may go to the empty seat at Foyt, not returning to Dale Coyne Racing. So there's a lot of action. There's a lot of movement. We try to keep up with it. Also want to say, if you're watching the show today, please, if you haven't already gone and signed up for our newsletter, go to our website, thepitsareopen.com. Please sign up there for the newsletter. It's free. Comes out once a week. We don't bombard you with relentless emails, but it gives a lot of great news mostly from Speed Sport, our media partner. And then we also talk about the show and different things. We have partner and sponsor announcements on there as well, and you'll like that, and we'll appreciate if you'll sign up for the website. All right, we got our first guest up, and I'm so excited. We've been trying to put this together for weeks. I am thrilled that he's here. He is the president of Schaefer Manufacturing, better known to most of you as Schaefer Oil, Schaefer Lubricants, Schaefer Specialized Lubricants. Larry Hofstetter is the president. He assumed that role in 2019. He has over 30 years of experience in terms of energy and oil. At Schaefer, he oversees operations, sales, finance, product innovation, market development, and alignment with company culture that emphasizes customer trust, long-term relationship. And that's what I want to ask him to talk about today. So we want to welcome our newest partner, Schaefer Oil, and Larry Hofstetter. Larry, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Will. I'm glad to be here.
Boy, I tell you, you were harder than getting the president on, President of the United States. It was quite a. We're glad you're here, though. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Hey, and thank you so much for allowing us to get into the Schaefer family a little bit. We're kind of more like cousins than anything at this point. We want to see if we can do a better job for that. But I do want to say a special thanks to our good friend, my good friend, personal friend, Ron Hundley, because Ron helped push this along. And so we're very thankful for Ron, and we're gonna produce. We're gonna produce for Ron. We're gonna produce for Schaefer, and a year from now, or hopefully it won't be a year from now. Hopefully we can talk before that. But we'll have a great conversation on the good things that are happening. Larry, tell us about more of your background, and then I'd like to get into the incredible history of Schaefer Manufacturing, which is an incredible story all to itself. But tell us more about yourself.
Okay. Well, thanks. Well, I grew up on a small farm in southern Missouri. Our land on this farm in the area we grew up did just what God plans it to do. It kept us right below the poverty line. And that's a good thing. The area I grew up in, most of our farms were below the poverty line. But a key thing, and it's one of the things about your racing team, is we never thought we were poor. There's a difference in between being in poverty and being poor. So grew up on the farm, and after moving from the farm, worked in construction, saved enough money to go to college and became a chemical engineer at a local university. From there, one of the best benefits I had in my personal development professionally is I worked for Shell Oil Company for many years.
Oh, wow.
And while I was there, Shell taught me how to be an engineer. They taught me how to effectively do organizational management and change, and they taught me about global economics. And during that period, I met my wife, and as we started, what we found was really key to our relationship, my wife and I, was our faith. Mm-hmm. So early on, faith became the center part of our marriage. And it became the center part of our life and for our kids. And it wasn't a matter of how do I bring my faith to work. It was more about how do I bring my work into my faith. And so I use that as a key point because it has a lot to do with the things that we've done and why coming to Schaefer and having a relationship with you is a fit and so important. So after Shell Oil Company, I was part of a merger. And Shell is a century-old company, so they taught us about being generational minded. And then Shell merged with Texaco, and a year later, that merger was separated. And what we learned was not all relationships are meant to last. And at that point, I went to work for an independent refining company that was in the area. My wife and I didn't want to move. Our children were settled, and we were looking for stability. And I went to work for a private equity company that owned these assets. And what I learned there is I am not built for the short term. Mm-hmm. We're created for the long term, and that really resonated. So once we sold those refineries, I went to work for the largest oil company in Canada. And we developed an integrated value chain from the oil sands in Alberta all the way into the States, and opened up millions of barrels of capacity to the U.S. All during that was building relationships around a key principle that was here at Schaefer long before I got here. And that was, if you're going to be relationship, it has to be founded on trust. Mm-hmm. And Stephen Covey his book, Speed of Trust, was just a key part of my professional life. So before I'd ever start a new venture, a new organization, a new board, if I would go on it, I would bring everyone a free copy of the book, Speed of Trust, and we would learn what that meant so that any relationship we built on it could be enduring. So just real quick, I'll point that out. The Speed of Trust definition is a measure of a person's character and their competency, not an either or. And with that definition, two people, two organizations, a lubricant company and a racing company can build a strong, enduring relationship around that for the long term. Mm-hmm. So it's toward the end of my career, and my wife and I had bought our retirement home, and I get a phone call, and someone had given my name to Schaefer as someone who might be a good fit to come in and run the company and preserve what Schaefer wanted to be, not just now, and not just the past, but in the future. So we prayed about it, and I asked my wife permission to delay retirement. And so here I am at Schaefer and continuing to bring relationships and longevity to all that we do. So if I could, I'd like to talk a little bit about Schaefer and
Sure.
how.
You know what they say though, Larry, happy wife, happy life, right? So it's
right, and life is still pretty happy as long as I ask for permission. It's working out great.
I'm 100% with you, my brother. I totally get that. Let me just go back. Can I ask a question out of curiosity, because you would know this, I wouldn't know this, but you mentioned oil sands. Oil sand from Alberta?
Oil sands.
Oil sand.
Right.
Is that is that what they were going to move in the before it was stopped Keystone Pipeline? Is that what was going to be coming to refineries?
Actually, here's a little bit of history for everyone as it comes up on a trivia night.
Okay.
The oil sands when I started working there in 2002 had just proven the largest oil reserves in the world next to Venezuela. They had just passed up Venezuela. So
wow.
oil sands is a huge reservoir.
Yeah.
It is a low quality crude. It's oil that's mixed with a lot of sand. And our job when I worked at the Canadian company was to develop a business plan to monetize those reserves. So we built a pipeline already. Keystone was built. The first Keystone was built, and it was operational by 2011.
Wow.
We built the pipeline all the way to St. Louis, Missouri, and had a refinery there that was retrofit just to run the oil sands out of Canada. So that was all in place before the second Keystone pipeline that everyone's pretty familiar with was not allowed to be built. So
and you can't use the same refinery to refine oil sands as you can, like, sweet crude oil, right?
Correct, right. West Texas
process.
Intermediate is a different refinery than Canadian oil sands.
Yeah, I'm just very curious. I know that wasn't on our
that's
discussion.
Okay.
I'm just very curious. Larry, I'm going to ask you to hold that thought.
Okay.
Because we're going to take a moment and share some love with one of our other partners, and we'll be right back. So hold on just a second.
Thanks,
please.
Will.
Thank you. Hey, this segment is brought to you by America's Christian Credit Union. Are you looking for a smart, faith-aligned way to grow your savings? Well, listen up. Right now, the America's Christian Credit Union is offering a 12-month certificate at the highest rate in the nation, 4.75%. Limited offer for new members only. Deposits up to $1 million. You can get started for as little as $1,000. It's called a term share certificate, similar to a CD, but it's packed with mission. Don't wait. Lock the rate before it drops. Go to America's Christian Credit Union, americaschristiancu.com/Pitts. Let me say it again. americaschristiancu.com/Pitts and get started today. All right. I want to welcome Larry back to the program. Larry, thank you for holding on. We good friends of ours out in California. So talk to us about Schaefer. 1839. It's got to be one of the oldest privately held organizations in the country, isn't it?
It's 1839 is the oldest ongoing business west of the Mississippi. Wow. And was founded in 1839 by Nicholas Schaefer here in St. Louis, Missouri. The first rendering plant was built where the arch is standing today. And Mr. Schaefer at that point wasn't a lubricant company. He was at that point a soap and candle company, and he provided all the soap, candles, and some wagon wheel grease for the wagons that left out of St. Louis and Kansas City heading west. And that period made Mr. Schaefer the first millionaire west of the Mississippi.
Wow.
And a very generous man. And what I'm describing is it's not a matter of what you make, it's why you make it. And that's what's endearing. And that's what's enduring with Schaefer is this mindset of being able to create more value than we could consume. And we're good stewards of that difference for future generations. And that was the mindset of Nicholas Schaefer. So he was very generous with his with the community. 1849, there was a fire that burned all the riverfront, including his rendering plant. And he had enough money to rebuild his plant, and he loaned his money to those who needed to rebuild their plants as well. So creating more value than you consume and being good stewards for everyone around. So that started in 1839.
I teach a membership class at the church, and I use a story. It's about Sam Walton in Walmart, and I say in that story, sadly today most companies, most corporations, the farther the time drifts away from the founder and the founding of the organization, the less the organization is like the founder. But it sounds remarkably incredible that Schaefer has still adhering to the principles of their founder all these years later. I mean, that's such an amazing
that
thing.
is no accident.
Right.
And the reason it's not an accident is very consistent with our Christian faith. You and I get further and further away from our founder, but we still carry his beliefs because we're good stewards of it for everyone around, and we make sure our next generation knows it.
That's so good.
So no different. And that's how the Schaefer's mindset has been. Each generation has their own duties. Each generation had their own disruptive events, their own challenges,
Sure.
and yet they persevered to create more value than they consumed, and they was a good steward of that difference for the next generation. So today we are sixth generation is in the company, seventh generation is interning in the summer, and the family, when they brought me on, they had one request. Larry, set the company up, preserve it, organize it so that our grandchildren's grandchildren are still stewards of this founder's mindset. And that's what we do.
Wow. I mean, that's so unheard of with so many businesses today. I mean, it's just, it gives me goosebumps to hear that because, everybody, not everyone, but I mean, just a lot of companies, they're all about, it's just the bottom line. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter how you get there. Doesn't matter who suffers, sacrifices. It's the bottom line. And that's a totally different business mentality today.
Well, that's not enduring. And the world
Right.
wants truth and justice.
Right.
They just want something to believe in and something that does what it says it's going to do every day. That's what you and I provide when we give the world the best that we have and create value. This isn't just by accident. So one of the reasons I came to Schaefer is when I shared with you I was with Shell. At the end of my career at Shell, right before Texaco was involved, Shell's a 100-year-old company. It's a legacy company. It's a century-old company, and it's going to continue. And they have all the structures in place for that. And it resonated with me because of our faith of passing this on so that others know what Christ has done for us on the cross and for eternity. So with that, Jim Collins became a big source of mine for how to use the words the world has found to deliver this enduring message for all. So Jim Collins has a book called Built to Last and Good to Great. So I used all those principles because they aligned with our faith. When Schaefer called me in 2018 and they said, we're looking for someone to help preserve this company for another 7 generations, would you be interested in doing it? That's the call I responded to. I went to prayer and said, God, is this what you want me to use my skills for? Is this something you want to preserve?
I mean, no pressure, Larry. We want you to design a company, 7 generations, no pressure.
Yeah, but by human standards, that's not possible. But by the grace of God, it always works. And that's what you'll find with the Schaefer family. And with Schaefer, we're not transactional. This doesn't work if it's just transactional. It only works because it's relationships. And that's the relationship you and I started about a month ago, and you've been so good at persevering so that we could have this call. And at Schaefer, it starts with a friendship. And then at work, we develop that into a partnership, not transactional. And what we look at that is together, we can create more value for others than we can by ourselves. So let's partner in doing that. That's a relationship. But at Schaefer, it goes further. At Schaefer, when you're around long enough, you're going to become part of the family. And we always ask the question, you know how you're in a family is when you look around, you see a parent, a grandparent, and a great-grandparent. You see a child, a grandchild, and a great-grandchild. What you see is multi-generational. So when you start business with Schaefer and you become a friend and a partner, be ready, because next thing you know, you're going to be generational.
Amen. I mean, honestly, I'm so, I mean, I've known Ron for a number of years, and I've talked to other Schaefer reps, and you get that sense. You get that sense from them that it's very much a different business model, a different company, relationally based. It's so refreshing, because, I mean, even Shell is a big player in our world, the IndyCar world. They're a title sponsor for Team Penske. They're a major sponsor for the series, the IndyCar series. They provide all the ethanol that gets used. But even Shell's not a Schaefer.
Well, it's not a Schaefer.
Good company.
But I wouldn't even have the professional career that I have. I give it all the credit to Schaefer or Shell being a century-old, a generational-minded company.
Yeah.
One thing that Jim Collins found in his work, if I could share this with you, that all of his work was on public companies, not private companies like Schaefer. On public companies, what he found was companies that were 100 years old or older. All had one thing in common, no matter what industry they were in. They all had one thing in common, and that was they never, ever brought someone from the outside to be president. The companies that did bring someone from the outside to be president never made it to be a century-old company, because that outsider couldn't know the culture, couldn't understand what it means to work from the bottom up. And so with Schaefer, when they called, I knew that. And I said, well, and why would we risk this great treasure in St. Louis that's 180 years old for someone else to come in that's the outside that doesn't know it? I understand how to preserve this. It's not about making it Hofstadter Oil Company. It's about how do we to collectively continue to make the Schaefer Oil Company. So, and that's how I saw God sending me here to do that. But I'll use Ron. Why it works is because everyone has the same mind. If it wasn't me, Ron could be here and have the exact same conversation, and the words wouldn't sound any different, because we have one mindset. And we have this idea of we're one team. Whether it's you work in Schaefer or your partner in racing, like with you, we are one team with that one mindset. And we only have one conversation. How do we make this better every day so the next generation can benefit from it?
I mean, over the next few months, we're gonna invite a number of your reps to come on to talk about what they're doing. One of the things I was surprised about is I was surprised how engaged you actually are in the racing world. I knew that you were, but I didn't realize to the extent that you are. And I'm also surprised at how you do and do not market things. It's, again, how many reps do you have, Larry, nationwide?
So across the nation, we have 650 reps representing every state across the nation.
Wow. And it's really through the reps that...
It's all through the reps. And why is it through the reps? Because it's about relationships. Our reps are unique to any other company representation. It's all part of the family. And a little bit of background. So it's the reps are absolutely essential. The product is critical. So Schaefer switched from soap and candles around 1908, 1909 after electricity came on board, and there went our candles. And Dove came up with ivory soap that floated, and that kind of impacted our soap business because ours used to sink. But Henry Ford and Carnegie and the industrial age created machinery. And one thing about machines, for them to last and last and last, they need lubricants. So we switched from soap and candles to a lubricant manufacturing company in the early 1900s. And then Generation 4 went off to fight in World War II. And while they were there, they observed these friction modifiers being added to all of the military equipment that was extending equipment life. And when they brought that back to Schaefer, they started at the plant, and they introduced those friction modifiers and certain other additives. And what they found is we could create on purpose a lubricant that intentionally adds reliability and longevity to all equipment. So customers that need their equipment to have the lowest cost to use over a lifetime so they can be competitive, so they can be generational.
Yeah.
That was the intention of designing this, but that doesn't work unless there's a person there every day, one of these sales reps, to let that customer know, I'll answer your questions, I'll make sure you're using it correctly so that your equipment will last longer. And there is no better proving ground than the stress that goes through racing.
Sure. Wow. I wondered how, when you switched over to become a lubricant company. I mean, I just know here in up in the Northeast, we did a lot of whaling, and so whale oil was pretty predominant in candles and soap, things like that. How hard of a shift, I wonder? Of course, you weren't there, but how hard of a shift was it to go from a candle soap formula to a machinery lubricant formula?
Well, you're right. I can't know what the exact mindset was, but what I can describe is what a winner's mindset is. Is there was the electricity really was the new technology, and candles, especially the commercialized candles, were becoming obsolescent. But the Schaefer mindset wasn't to be a victim to that. It was that's an opportunity to learn and do something different. And that's the winner's mindset. That's a founder's mindset, and it's never to see a disruptive event be something to be afraid of, but an opportunity to learn from. So Schaefer has just had many disruptive events, depressions, electricity,
Sure.
and World War II was a learning opportunity. And the world is benefiting, racing's benefiting from that, because the lubricants are designed that it's not how many engine replacements you're planning on a year, but how many years you want to use that one engine for.
Right. Larry, I can't believe it. We're out of time. I'm going to have you
Oh,
come
no.
back. This is it. I mean, I can't
Well,
believe
I
it.
talk too much. You let me speak too much.
I want to keep this going, but we've got another guest out there. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for what you do at Schaefer, and thank you for trusting us to have a little tiny bit of that opportunity that you've given us. We're grateful for it. We're gonna do the best job we can. We'll never do anything to dishonor the company or your brand or your people. And I appreciate the relationship that we've struck up. So thank you.
Well, we
very,
have a
very
partnership, and we're creating value together, and you're a winner, and we love winners.
much. All right. Well, thank you so much. I
Thanks,
appreciate
Will.
it so much. God bless you. All right, everybody. Larry Hosstetter. We're going to take a break. We've got some a promotional to run for you for our good friends at Speed Sport, and then we'll be back with another guest when we come back. Thank you.
The IHRA Outlaw Nitro Series is live this week from Dorana Dragway at West Salem, Ohio. And Speed Sport has all the excitement live. Watch Pro-Am action live starting Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. on Speed Sport 2. Then feel the roar of Pro Mod and Top Fuel qualifying live on Speed Sport 1, Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And Top Fuel finals are live Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. It's free to watch. Go to speedsport1.com for details and viewing options.
All right, welcome back. Hey, welcome back. We're going to take a minute and recognize another one of our sponsors for a moment. So hang on. We'll be right back. This segment brought to you by Redline Ace. When it comes to racing, standing out on and off the track, nobody does it better than Redline Ace. Located literally minutes from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Redline Ace is your go-to for high-performance motorsports graphics. From car wraps, helmets, trailers, haulers, you name it. Hero cards. Redline Ace will make sure you look as fast as your ride. So visit redlineace.com today and see why champions trust Redline Ace to keep their image in victory lane. That's redlineace.com. All right. Well, that was, boy, Alex, I could have gone on with Larry for another half. He's such a wealth of knowledge, right? That's so cool. But we have another wealth of knowledge. Somebody who I so enjoy. He is so gracious to share tips on pretty much every social media page. I don't know what he's not on. And every time it pops up, I stop and I'm listening, and I'm so thankful for that. This is our next guest had decades of experience in the association business, had his own business, J.P. Murray Company, and decided and maneuvered in a successful buyout of that company, and then started another company, J.P. Murray Racing. And not too long after that started, he was now landed a position, Senior Vice President, AJ Foyt Racing. We all love AJ. So we're so grateful to have J.P. Murray with us. J.P., welcome to the show. Welcome back.
Hey, great to be back with you, Will. I dialed in, I was listening, and I didn't know, was whale oil on our bingo card today? Because you guys covered it.
You know, I'm a curious little soul, and so I like asking questions about that. But, you know, up here, seriously, whaling was the huge industry for us for many years, you know, and they did. I'm sure they used whale oil to make their first candles and soaps and stuff. So somehow we went from whale oil to lubricant to racing. How are you?
Doing great. It's an exciting time of the year.
Busy in a new position?
It's a very, so came on board. You know, I've been working with Larry and Santino and the team for better part of a year, or since Santino joined the team. But now, since July, I've been working a lot on the Foyt program, and we've got it's a very exciting time. You're going to hear some, I think, great things in the next few days. We were trying to schedule this so it'd be synced up with some announcements, but they're imminent.
Okay,
so
good.
It's an exciting time, and love the new schedule coming out with IndyCar. So we got a lot of things to talk about, Will.
Good. You know, you're an expert at this, and, you know, we have a lot of younger drivers, younger, you know, solopreneur kind of team owners listening and watching. Here we are, almost October. Hard to believe. The year has flown by. So in your mind, in terms of sponsorship and sales, where are we in the rotation? Where are we in the sponsorship calendar? I'm interested to get your take on that.
It's probably one of the most important times of the year. Budgets are being formulated, considered. I would say right now you should be having an intense interest in reaching new companies and getting on their radar screen, because you've got to be in their budget for them to, or be in their budget cycle for them to even think about new money. Because most often, what's the most common thing you hear if you're a race team? We're already sponsoring someone else. We've got budget on some other program. We like who we're currently working with. So to start penetrating that, you've got to be in touch with them actually before now, but now in particular, so they can be considering you for their budget cycle.
Sure.
So lots of direct outreach right now with new companies, I think, would be an important thing. And obviously renewing the people that you currently have, so the other new race team isn't getting your guys.
Right.
So that's a big part of the calendar, I think, for the last 30 days, but certainly for the next 30 to 60.
Okay. And to your point, we just had Larry on from Chevrolet. He said they just finished their first strategic, real big planning meeting for budget for next year. So they're in the middle of it, and a lot of other companies are as well. If they're fiscal year calendar, I mean, some of them have a different calendar cycle. That's the other thing, right? You need to know if you're going to be approaching company. You need to know, are they on a fiscal year, or their year ends in June? You need to know when that happens.
It's one of the most important things to ask a prospect or to become familiar with. We had an ownership change with one of my sponsors that I've worked with before, and they went from a calendar to a fiscal year. So actually, we're already working with some of their budget money that they've already allocated, but we're going to contract already because they're already in their fiscal year, and we've got to make sure that we get it synced up. So that's one of the things, you know, Will, I don't know if we've ever talked about this. It's really, I think, critically important to stay connected with your sponsoring company to know what kind of changes are happening in the company. We talked about one, but there are other things that could be strategic changes. They could be going from more branding to more conversion of sales. So staying in touch with that sponsor throughout the year is really important, to know what their strategic objectives and their priorities are going to be. Because if you assume what it is and you just keep rolling out the same stuff to them, they might become tired of
Yeah.
it and
Well,
look
and
other
that-
places.
That's why I like so much the stuff that you're sharing almost daily, it seems, on Instagram, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. And you've talked about that before. You talk about making sure communication stays open. Hey, you could have a new CEO, as you just had. You could have a change coming down the road. That could drastically shape what's happening with your relationship.
Regime change is probably one of the least discussed items in business development and sales when we're dealing with C-suite in particular. And I've been guilty of it, right? I had a point of contact. I knew what kind of beer they liked. It was delivered to his room. I knew who he liked to play golf with. You know,
Right.
I was really,
Right.
but you know, my mistake in doing that was I wasn't looking outside of that one person in the organization and building relationships to make the bench a little bit deeper. So when changes happen, you have more than one contact in a company. But oh yeah, I mean, regime change can change. There's some times where a new CEO or a new set of leaders come on board and literally their determination is this: we don't like anything that the former regime did. So we're not doing any of that. And you can be out on your ear because of it.
Right.
So you've got to be pretty intentional about building multiple relationships within a sponsorship organization, I think.
Well, and that was advice that you gave months and months ago when I first started watching you, and we both agree, and you agree very strongly that if you're a marketing salesperson, sponsorship seeker, you're missing out if you're not on LinkedIn. Because so many of your prospects, that's where they are. I mean, you can be on Instagram, that's fine, but you've got to be on LinkedIn. And to that point, another thing that you said that now I do religiously is I don't just try to get one contact at that company. I try to get 4 or 5 contacts at that company because just of that same thing. That could be a regime change, or you don't know, you'll hear something from a different perspective from another member of the team than you'll get from perhaps somebody else. So don't settle for one contact. Get it, make it deep, make it wide and deep.
For sure. And you're right about LinkedIn. It's probably what Facebook was in terms of social engagement a number of years ago. But LinkedIn is at its at peak right now. And actually, to bring in the Foyt side of things a little bit, if you don't follow us on LinkedIn, please do, the AJ Foyt Racing. So we're starting to have 3 pieces of content weekly. We've developed a new newsletter, and we're doing it to kind of get the word out and build our network a little bit. Not only that, but eventually what I hope is that we become a resource for marketers and fans and race teams about how they optimize their sponsorships and show people a little bit about what we're doing and how we're doing it. And I think that will be a positive for our brand to become a resource like that. So we're at Foyt Racing, we're developing that area intensively right now.
Well, again, based on things that I'm learning from you, I went to our guys and I said, listen, our team, I said, we need to totally redo our website because our website is really a fan site. And I think the website should be a business website where we're trying to approach and we're looking to approach potential sponsors. So we went through and just launched it. We went through a complete total from the ground up overhaul of our website. And I had to laugh because there was a little exercise that we could do with another platform where they will look at your website and compare your website with others in your industry, and they will rank you and score you. And I'll send you a copy. I'll share it. You'll be surprised. Our new website, it's doing exactly what we want it to do. We want it to be a website where if you have ABC whatever company and you're looking to maybe get into a sponsorship relationship, very transparent, just as you are. We list out the things that we do. We list out the process, how we do it, and we ranked super high in this comparison. And I'll definitely forward it to you. But again, that's coming from you, JP. I'm listening to you.
I tip my hat to you on that. I mean, the strategy around the website. What is its purpose?
Right.
Do you want it to attract sponsors? Do you want to sell merchandise off of it? Do you want, what's the real purpose? And start to construct it based on those priorities for your company is really important. Unfortunately, sometimes without doing that, we just have a bunch of stuff up there and it doesn't do any of those things very well.
And that's what our website was. It just had a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff. And really what you want are more viewers for the podcast and the video broadcast. So how do we make it that way?
Right.
Yeah, good job.
JP, could you hold that thought for just a minute? We're going to share some love with one of our sponsors for about 30 seconds here. Hey, we're going to take a break and then we'll be right back, so don't go away. This episode is being brought to you by Schaefer Manufacturing, America's trusted leader in oils and lubricants since 1839. If you want maximum performance and protection for your engines, your fleets, your equipment, Schaefer delivers. Their advanced lubricants reduce friction, run cleaner, last longer, saving you money with fewer breakdowns, less downtime. That's why professionals in trucking, farming, racing, and industry all turn to Schaefer. Don't settle for average. Give your engine the premium care it deserves. Learn more at SchaeferOil.com. That's SchaeferOil.com. Thank you. Welcome back, and we welcome J.P. Murray back to the program. I'll tell you, it's an interesting time right now because it seems though some companies are really looking to hang it out there, try something different in sponsorship. Other companies have kind of pulled back a little bit with the tariff situation. Are you finding that to be true on your end, JP?
Not. We haven't found any of our partners facing headwinds that are affecting us, frankly, and we could be. That's probably just luck. Okay. And I've always been this way about my approach. I like to engage people that want to do it. And my job is to sort out people that aren't doing it any longer or said racing didn't work for them, and finding through social, through posting, through email campaigns, whatever we can do to pull people towards us that may be interested in giving it a shot or learning more about it. So I think in a way that approach has made my efforts probably less fluctuated by the winds of a macro economy than others. And the other part is the mindset of, I can't control that anyway. So I'm just going to talk to everybody that wants to talk to me. And so I haven't seen that. Now, I will say this. Here's what we're looking. I think we're in pretty good shape regarding primaries and races this year. I really like where we're setting. There'll be more coming out on that in the coming days, but I'm focused on a couple things. One is with the new IndyCar schedule, we have opportunity. I really like it for us because Milwaukee is an example. We had more B2B meetings with our partners at Milwaukee than any other race this year. Really? The fact that I can replicate that 2 times, I like that. We've got one of our partners headquartered in Phoenix. Oh my goodness. We'll have the best activation ever with them.
Sure.
The Arlington race, we're getting inbound calls, and like that never happens. You'll knock me over with a feather.
That's gold.
Calls want to do it.
Wow.
So, we have inbounds about Arlington. So I really am focused a lot on these regional associate programs and trying to customize some packages for those. The other thing that we're working on, I'm very intentional this year about ensuring that we're also finding partners that make the race team better or make the business operations better. So I'm looking for technology partners, AI partners, people that can propel us. Certainly we'd love the money, but also need people that can help us with things and their expertise a little bit. So I'm spending a little bit of time on that too. So kind of regional and partnerships are a big emphasis during this time frame as well.
So without breaking any news prematurely, we all know that David Malukas went over to Penske. We all know that Santino's still there. Will we have an announcement in recent coming days about another driver addition? Or
there's lots of work going on, and we don't. Man, I'm not going to speak for Larry, but I know he wants to wrap things up as quickly as possible.
Well, just not that I'm necessarily thinking this, but let Larry know I've lost 23 pounds. I could probably fit in a cockpit now. So if you really need a driver badly, I might be able
we
to.
roll out that 77 Coyote. It might be you might have a chance, Will.
We're talking with JP Murray. JP is I say expert. I mean, he's what I like so much about you. Again, I've told you the transparency that you display in a lot of when our sport is a very tight to the vest. Don't say anything. Don't tell anybody anything. And you're just like, every day, here's how I do it. I mean, I just feel like it's so refreshing.
I don't know. Like, Will, I think you feel the same. You're doing this. So I look at it, I look at this as an abundance life. And I think there's enough for everybody.
Yes.
I mentioned this the other day to someone. I cheer for other teams when they're locking down things and they're having their own announcements, because that demonstrates to me that the market is viable, that there are people interested, in this case, IndyCar, but other forms of racing too. And motorsports is a wonderful multi-dimensional platform to grow your business. I went through it as a business owner.
Yeah.
So I look at this as I think that there's enough for everyone. And if you treat it like this, I think that's what you're probably going to get. And it's a mindset and a value system that I've always kind of embraced a little bit. Hey, it doesn't mean I'm not competitive.
Sure,
I mean, I want to get it as
Yeah.
much as anybody.
Absolutely.
But I think it makes me more at ease knowing that good things are happening for other people too, and I get inspired by it.
Okay, I appreciate that. What have you learned? You've been working with Foyt for a while, through your relationship with Santino. What have you learned about Foyt now that you're kind of more on the inside than you were a few months ago?
Yeah. So I would say a couple things. One is the ability to kind of dig deeper on some of our data. I'm talking sponsorships strictly now.
Sure.
The value of in-car camera and digital and placement of logos in the right places. When I see the return on investment for some of our people, there is a real difference in some positions. And some of them aren't as high profile as you might think. What I would encourage marketers and people that are working on their sponsorships is not only, hey, here, and I do this a lot too. What do you want? Let me see if I can deliver what you want.
Right.
And they have in their mind side pods and primaries, and those are great. They're great at the track in particular. But ask your sponsorship point of contact within the race team, where's the best value? Because I'm seeing things that aren't as big as others deliver some real return on investment. So that's one thing I've learned. The other thing I've learned, and I've continued to, it's been reinforced over and over again. And there, as you mentioned, everybody loves AJ, right? A lot of people do.
We all do.
We
all love AJ.
Yeah, everybody loves AJ. And I'm telling you, this team and the people around it, and Larry and the resurgence of this team.
Yeah.
I'll tell you all this. It is, if you're cheering for him, your enthusiasm and encouragement is well placed in my view.
Wow.
Great.
I am so happy to see Foyt Racing competitive and podiums and almost wins, and I mean it was kind of a drought for a while, and to see Foyt Racing competitive again is I think all fans. I don't know anybody in the space that isn't excited about what's happening at Foyt and what's going to be happening in the future. So that's wonderful.
Thank you.
All right, a couple minutes left here. Small team, younger team.
Yeah.
Trying to get their sprint car season in place for next year, their modified season, their outlaw season. What should give me the three top things, JP, they should be doing right now. Right now, what should they be doing to try to get those sponsors lined up?
Let's do this right now. Small new team or just what you described. The closest people to you are the most likely to do it. So the person that sponsored you before, the person that works on the crew that knows the owner of a trucking company, the people that you're doing business with already, the folks that are close to your circle are the best right now.
Okay.
This time frame, new budgets and all that, the long shot Hail Mary pass to that multinational conglomerate just because they have a lot of money and they don't know you from a man in the moon is not time well spent if you have limited time.
Right.
I would build it out who you know, who you work with, who your other partners that sponsor you and want you to succeed, who do they know? That's where I'm going to spend my time right now.
So your immediate sphere of influence.
More there than you can. Yeah.
The folks that are close to you, the folks that you know, the folks you worked with in the past, those are all the contacts you want to be working right now.
Very hard. And looking at the businesses that your current sponsors are doing business with and asking you to help with them. That's the number one thing. We look way too far out when we've got them right underneath us. That would be the first thing I would do.
Okay. All right. Well, and on that, we're going to have to say thank you. I can't tell you how much I look forward to you coming on. I know the audience does as well. We're excited to hear upcoming news from Foyt Racing. And tell Larry and AJ we said hello. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Will. Best wishes, everybody.
JP Murray, everybody. Thank you. All right. Before we bring on our next guest, we're going to bring on. We're going to take a moment and share some more love for one of our sponsors. And we'll take 2 seconds. So we'll be right back. Hey, racing fans, you want to stay plugged in the action? There's only one place to go, speedsport.com, speedsport1.com. From breaking news to in-depth feature, coverage, events across every form of motorsports, Speed Sport is your all-access path. Whether it's IndyCar, NASCAR, dirt track, drag strip, Speed Sport brings the stories and highlights and the drama right to you. Don't miss a lap, speedsport.com. Tune in at speedsport1.com. for everything in racing. Thank you, Speed Sport. We love you guys. All right, now joining us, the legendary, the ultimate disruptor in motorsports. That would be the one and only Kurt Hansen. Hey, Kurt.
Good day.
How are you?
I am fantastic. Well, I typed a message to say hi to JP for me because that guy, he's truly one of the best. Hopefully I'll see him at Chili Bowl again this year. Did he say, is Santino going to go back to Chili Bowl this year?
I didn't talk to him, but my guess is yes.
That's great. Well, I will see him out there, and Larry. And so what's because I tuned in a little bit late. It's an absolutely crap day here in the Mile High City.
Is it really?
I ache from head to toe. Winter's already here. I hate it. And I think I'll be spending a lot of time in Arizona this winter.
So when we come on with your show, now we're going to come on. I have the privilege and pleasure of co-hosting with Kurt on Kurt's show, which is Race Central Unplugged, which comes on at 5:00 Eastern Time, 3:00 his time, Mountain Time, and you can see that on YouTube. You can see it on his website. Streams live on his website, which is racecentral.live. And so we're going to be coming on at 5:00. We're going to talk about, obviously, my passion. We'll talk about some IndyCar news, things that are happening right now.
Yep.
We're going to get an update. You're going to give us an update on Tony Stewart, what's going on in the Stewart camp, correct?
Absolutely. And I updated you this morning that Jacob Abel, potentially to AJ Voigt. Did JP say anything about that? Did you ask?
No, we didn't. But I did see our good friend Nathan Brown, who's the Indy Star reporter, kind of intimated in an article today, that fact. I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll see. Well, again, hey, listen, it's money. I understand that it's money, but I hate to see anything. And I love the Abel family. I love Abel Motorsports. I'm friends with several of the folks over there, so I'm not going to say anything disparaging. But I just hate to see momentum maybe slowing down.
I totally agree. And boy, the momentum they would have gained with Rhinus there.
and not just and Santino together. Oh my God.
Yeah, I interviewed Jacob in Long Beach. He is a super nice kid. Didn't meet his dad. Yeah. It's a big step, and he's moved a long ways in a short time. So we'll talk about that. Also, some update on the Tony Stewart, Donnie Schatz story, which is interesting.
Well, don't tell us yet. Don't tell us yet.
No. Also,
we want to tune in at 5:00.
Also, some fascinating news from the NHRA, and we got a lot to get to. Right. Also, the latest pagan festival update that you.
You mean the one that I went to in Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah,
called Spring Break.
Yeah, I think I got a better one for you.
All right,
so we're going to talk about that and a lot of stuff that, unless you tune in, you're. This is Race Central is a place to be. If you're not here, you're not anywhere. It is the podcast and website that makes you a smarter and better motorsports fan. No live show this Friday, 3 to 5. It's a drive on ESPN Denver. Well, I'll be racing this weekend.
That was so much fun. I loved coming on your radio show.
You
last
were
week.
fantastic.
That was a blast.
Yeah, I had a lot of comments because a lot of the management listens in the studio when we're on, and that they thought you were very strong and insightful. And they love the fact that frankly, you're a preacher. And I told.
Nope. The squirrels apparently have stopped running on the power generator at Kurt's house in Colorado. All right, Kurt, we've lost you for a second, but we'll be back. We'll be back at 5:00. Hang in there with us. And remember, racecentral.live. You can get it online. You can also get it on YouTube, Race Central Media. And we'll be back with Kurt. Alex, thank you so much. We'll be swifting over here with Gorgeous George. And thank you guys. Love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. And stay with us. Again, all this will be replayed on YouTube, on Facebook, on Spotify. And please go to our website. I got so many websites in my head. I get you straight. ThePitsAreOpen.com. Sign up for our newsletter. We'll see you. We love you. God bless you.